So last one, Jesus on divorce. We've been quoting Jesus, but let's take a little bit of a deeper dive on Matthew. Matthew chapter 19.
Now when Jesus finished these sayings, he left Galilee and went to the region of Judea beyond the Jordan River.
This is the jurisdiction of Herod Antipas, in case you're wondering.
Large crowds followed him, and he healed them there. Then some Pharisees came to him in order to test him. They asked, "Is it lawful for a wife to divorce a wife for any cause?"
See, they don't even consider. No, keep that up there. Keep that up. They don't even keep. They don't even think about a wife divorcing a husband. They're just like, hey, is it lawful to divorce a wife for any cause? Now, how exactly? It says they came in order to test him. How exactly do you think this was some big test? Because Jesus had already taught on the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5, but they're coming and saying, hey, is it okay? Is it lawful to divorce a wife for any cause?
They wanted to see if they could trap him in a contradiction?
No.
Do you want me to go to the next one?
No. Here's my question. It's very important that you notice. Inspired Scripture says he left Galilee, went to the region of Judea behind the Jordan, and this was specifically the jurisdiction of Herod Antipas. Now, here's a question. Who ordered the execution of John the Baptist?
Oh, it was his wife.
It was Herod Antipas.
Wait.
His wife
had his daughter.
Her daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, why did John get imprisoned by Herod Antipas and get his head cut off?
Because he stole his brother's wife.
That's right. He had divorced who he was married to. His brother's wife divorced his brother. They then shack up. That's who kills John the Baptist. Basically, they're tempting Jesus to do the same thing John did.
And they're trying to get Jesus' head cut off.
Yeah, we want you on the record here to tell the guy who executed John for calling out divorce. They're testing him not just because they're interested in his theology. They want him dead.
And that's why they did it in Herod's jurisdiction.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. From what we can tell. So,
sneaky.
Let's see how Jesus answers. He's not going to duck it.
He answered, "Have you not read that from the beginning the Creator made them male and female, and said, 'For this reason a man will leave his father and mother and will be united with his wife, and the two will become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore what God has joined together, let no one separate.'"
See, Jesus is declaring the Edenic ideal. What is God's ideal for marriage? Look at Eden before the fall. Okay? One man, one woman for life. Nothing confusing about it. I mean, this is... And he's appealing not to the law of Moses. He's going all the way back to the beginning of creation to say, this is how it should be. You guys are looking for loopholes. But here's the will of God revealed. So,
Jeremy says, very interesting connection, and gave you 5 stars.
Keep going, verse 7.
They said to him, "Why then did Moses command us to give a certificate of dismissal and to divorce her?" Jesus said to them, "Moses permitted you to divorce your wives because of your hard hearts. But from the beginning it was not this way. Now I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for immorality and marries another commits adultery." The disciples said to him, "If this is the case of a husband with a wife, it is better not to marry."
Were they not paying attention to the Sermon on the Mount? They miss it then? But even the apostles are sort of freaking out like, whoa, what are you saying? Because in their worldview, you ought to be able to divorce her, if not for every reason, at least for a number of reasons. So this was a hard saying even for his apostles. So let's finish up what he said.
He said to them, "Not everyone can accept this statement, except those to whom it has been given. For there are some eunuchs who were that way from birth, and some who were made eunuchs by others, and some who became eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. The one who is able to accept this should accept it."
And again, he's then tying it in, saying celibacy outside of marriage is just part of true service to God's kingdom, which Jesus' followers are to prioritize more than our natural desires, whether it be for sexual fulfillment or marital companionship. It's just, you can't get away from it. And unfortunately, in America right now, and I know we're going to go on to next steps, and that's fine, right now in America, one of the most unfortunate things is individuals will prioritize their own fulfillment, their own desires, regardless of what God says. And in many cases, I'm not talking about America as a whole. I'm talking about within Christianity, where individuals would look at Jesus is, basically saying, you want to know what the kingdom ideal is? If you're not legitimately married, man, woman, husband, wife, Edenic ideal, here's the deal. You have got to remain pure. And right now, if there is a problem in the church in America, this is perhaps the biggest one. It's easier for us, and I'm not saying it's inappropriate, it's easier for us to, be involved in the culture wars around us. And I do think that as the conscience of a nation, the church does need to speak to it. But we need to get our own house in order. And in this particular case, it's not even a matter of the divorce and remarriage thing. It's a matter of just being, upright human beings. And so as Jesus is teaching this, he's not only sort of ducking his, head out of the noose of the Pharisees who were trying to get him killed, but also he's sort of freaking his apostles out. And he's like, guys, this is, did you not pay attention when I said, if you want to follow me, you have to deny yourself, take up your cross? Well, what are you going to use a cross for? It ain't going to be to hang around your neck. It's going to be to hang you on. And so when it comes to this, so often I think we like to think of it as somehow God would never want to deny his children.
No.
And yet Jesus says, if you don't deny yourself, you're not even following me.
I mean, you don't even see that with parents. I mean, they tell you no. As someone who is still being told no by their parents, they tell you no.
And as one who does not give enough vitamin N, I will say this. It's not a matter of lacking grace. It is a matter of saying, your way tends to get you in a mess. So if you'll follow me, Jesus is saying, yeah, it's going to require some discipline. It's going to require some areas where everyone around you might be doing it, but you're not going to. And that includes how you handle your marriage or how you handle your singleness. So when it comes to this, it shows us just the principles of the kingdom.